He kneels in the cold, majestic hall of the Vatican Palace. The air is thick with the scent of old incense, wax, and unhidden fear. 10 men in red robes, cardinals of the Holy Inquisition, stare at him. Their faces are masks of stern, unyielding authority. They are truth. They are the Church. They are God. And he, Galileo Galilei, is a heretic. His world, his beautiful, logical world of mathematics, his stars, his telescope, his irrefutable proofs, has shrunk to a single sheet of paper, to the text of recantation he must utter aloud. "Recant," whispers the cold, pragmatic voice in his head. "Just tell them what they want to hear. You've already lived 69 years. You're old. You're sick. You're tired. What difference does it make what your lips say if your mind knows the truth? Save your life. They're not joking. They burned Giordano Bruno. His ashes haven't yet cooled in Rome's memory. Bruno was a philosopher. He died for a metaphor. And you're a scientist. You need to live to work. Say it." He lifts his gaze. On the wall hangs a huge, dark crucifix. Jesus looks down as if in reproach. "God," Galileo thinks, "you are truth. I dedicated my life to seeking your truth. The one written not in books of calfskin, but in the great book of the universe. The one written in the language of mathematics. And now men who speak in your name demand that I lie. That I say, your world is not as you created it." He closes his eyes, and instantly he is far away. In the darkness of night, beside his perspective, his tube, he sees it so clearly, as if it's happening now. He sees Jupiter, a bright, calm speck, and beside it 4 tiny stars, like diamond dust. He saw them. No one before him had. He observed. Night after night, they danced. They disappeared behind the planet and reappeared on the other side. They did not orbit Earth. They orbited Jupiter, a miniature solar system. Proof. He sees Venus. It has phases, exactly like the moon, now full, now a thin crescent. This would be impossible if it orbited Earth. It's possible only in one case, if it, like Earth, orbits the Sunday. He sees the moon. Not the perfect, divine, smooth sphere Aristotle wrote of, but a world, a real world, with huge mountains casting long, sharp shadows, with dark seas, vast plains. It resembles Earth. "I don't believe this," whispers his soul. "I know it. I've seen it." "But you will recant," the voice in his head returns. "They're right about one thing. You're nothing. You know the truth, but you're afraid to die for it. You're not Bruno. You're a coward." He opens his eyes. The men in red wait. One extends the text to him. He hears his own voice crack, aged and broken. "I, Galileo Galilei, son of the late Vincenzo Galilei, Florentine, aged 70 years, swear that I have always believed, now believe, and with God's help will believe in the future all that the Holy Catholic and Apostolic Church teaches, preaches, and believes. I abjure, curse, and detest the aforesaid errors and heresies, that the sun is the center of the world and immovable, and that the earth is not the center and moves. Each word is physical pain, as if swallowing red-hot coals. These are not just words. This is the murder of himself, the murder of his work, his honor, his soul. He rises from his knees. Old, broken, defeated. They have won, but that will happen in 50 years. And now he is 20, a young man in Pisa, unbearably bored. He sits in the grand Pisan cathedral, but hears not a word of the Mass. His father forced him to study medicine. It brings money, Galileo. Your mathematics is toys. Doctors are respected men. and he hates medicine. The smell of sick bodies and the mindless memorization of Galen make him nauseous. His mind craves order, harmony, numbers. The priest drones monotonously in Latin. People pray, and suddenly he notices, high under the dome, a large bronze lamp just lit and swung by the verger. It swings, a long, majestic arc one way, then back. Something catches his attention. He watches it, and without thinking, he presses his fingers to the artery in his neck, feels his own pulse. He begins to count. The lamp swings left. 1, 2, 3. 3 heartbeats. The lamp swings right. 1, 2, 3. Again 3. He watches, entranced. The swings grow shorter. The amplitude decreases. The lamp nearly stops. But the time remains the same. 3 heartbeats per swing, whether wide or barely noticeable. The entire cathedral vanishes. The priest, the worshippers, the scent of incense all dissolve. Only this rhythm remains, perfect, unchanging. The pulse of his body and the pulse of the pendulum. Isochronism. God, he thinks, and it is a thought revelation. God is not chaotic. He does not act on whim. God is the great mathematician. His laws are not in old books written in an incomprehensible tongue. They are written in motion itself, in the language of circles, triangles, and numbers. They are in the air we breathe, the light we see, the rhythm of this lamp. He leaves the cathedral a different man. He will never return to medicine. A few years later, he stands atop the leaning tower of Pisa. The wind whips his hair. Below, a crowd of professors in black robes, his university colleagues. They laugh, openly, contemptuously. In one hand, he holds a heavy cannonball weighing 10 pounds. In the other, a lighter musket ball, 1 pound. Aristotle said a body 10 times heavier falls 10 times faster, shouts one professor. We've known this for 1,000 years. You want to disgrace the master? I want to know the truth, Galileo shouts back. What if Aristotle was wrong? That's heresy, echoes from below. No, says Galileo, leaning over the edge. This is an experiment. Eyes are a more reliable witness than memory of dead words. He releases both balls. They fall, side by side, as if connected by an invisible thread, perfectly synchronized, heavy and light, together. Boom! A loud, dull double thud against the ground. They hit simultaneously. The crowd falls silent. Absolute silence. The professors stare at the balls in the dust, then at Galileo atop the tower, and in their eyes not wonder, not curiosity. In their eyes pure, unclouded fear and hatred. He has shattered their world. He has questioned the foundation of their knowledge. He has humiliated Aristotle. He has humiliated them. That evening he lies in bed and thinks, they're not angry that Aristotle was wrong. They're angry that I proved it. They don't want to know the truth. They want to be right. If they fear the truth about 2 pieces of iron so much, what will happen when I tell them the truth about the stars? Years pass. He is in Padua, the best, most popular professor in Italy. His lectures are shows. Students adore him. He is witty, passionate. He doesn't quote, he demonstrates. One evening in 1609, he hears of a strange toy brought from Holland. 2 pieces of glass in a tube. Magnifies the distant. Galileo doesn't sleep all night. This is no toy. This is an instrument, a weapon, a key. He obtains lenses, grinds his own, clumsily, stubbornly. Again and again, his hands ache, his eyes water. He creates a tube with 8-fold magnification. then 20-fold. He carries it to the balcony. First, he looks at distant ships in the lagoon. They are close, as if he could touch them. And then, that night, he does what no human before him had done. He points the tube at the sky. First, the moon, and he holds his breath. He expected to see what the books described, a perfect divine sphere, smooth as crystal. But he saw a world, a real, imperfect world. He sees mountains, vast ranges. He sees sunlight first touch their peaks while valleys remain in shadow. He sees craters deep, round scars. He sees dark plains, which he will call seas. It resembles earth, he whispers. It is not divine. It is material. A shudder runs through him. If the moon is earth, then... He points the tube at Jupiter, just a bright point. But what is this? Beside it 3 tiny stars, aligned in a perfect line. He thinks they are unknown stars, but the next night he looks again. They have shifted, all 3 now on the other side. And there he sees a 4th, night after night. January 1610. He doesn't sleep. He sketches their positions. They vanish, reappear. They dance. Truth strikes him like lightning. They orbit, but not around Earth. They orbit Jupiter. Copernicus, he whispers into the darkness. My God, Copernicus was right. The universe does not revolve around us. He is not merely looking at the sky. He is looking into the face of God. And God tells him, you are not the center of the universe. You are a tiny part on a small planet orbiting a middling star in a mechanism inconceivably grander than you could imagine. And for Galileo, this is not humiliation. It is the highest revelation. God is not so small as to spin billions of stars just around us. He is far, far greater. His grandeur is in his laws, in this mathematical perfection. He hastily publishes Times Siderius Nuncius, times the Times Starry Messenger **. The book is an explosion. Europe is shocked. He is the Columbus of the heavens. Kings and poets hail him. But the church sees no grandeur. It sees a threat. If Earth is just one planet, where is heaven? Where is hell? If we are not unique, what of the entire story of salvation? Why Christ? He is summoned to Rome. Cardinal Roberto Bellarmine, chief inquisitor, a wise and stern man, looks at him with pity. Father Cardinal, Galileo says passionately, the Bible teaches us how to go to heaven, not how the heavens go. Holy Scripture is written in a language simple shepherds can understand. It cannot err, but its interpreters can. Bellarmine shakes his head. Galileo, you play with fire. The faith of simple people is fragile. Your truth could kill it. You destroy order. But truth is God. Can one kill God by speaking truth about his creation? One can kill the man who speaks too much, the cardinal replies quietly. Leave it as a hypothesis, a mathematical game. Dare not say it is physical reality. Galileo agrees, but he cannot stay silent. He grows arrogant. It is his alcohol, his sin, akin to Watts's, his pride. He knows he is right, and he despises the blind. His mind is sharp as a razor, and he wields it as a weapon. When his friend, Cardinal Barberini, becomes Pope Urban VIII, Galileo decides the time has come. He writes his Times Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems **. It is a masterpiece, but a fatal mistake. He creates 3 characters. One, Salviati, representing himself, brilliant and witty. The second, Sagredo, an intelligent observer. And the third is Simplicio, the simpleton, a foolish, dogmatic Aristotelian repeating learned phrases, And Galileo, in the madness of his pride, puts into Simplicio's mouth the Pope Urban's own literal arguments. It was a mistake. It was betrayal. The Pope, his friend and protector, feels humiliated before the world. He rages, and he hands Galileo to the Inquisition. And so he kneels. The year 1633. He signs the recantation. He is led from the tribunal hall. He can barely walk. And in the corridor, when no one sees but God, whom he betrayed and yet defended, he stamps his foot on the stone floor. He whispers, not for the cardinals, not for history. He whispers for himself. Eppur si muove. And yet it moves. This is all he has left. I lied. I am a coward. I am nothing. But my lie will not stop the planets. My weakness will not change the law. Truth is greater than me. It moves, and I move with it. His final 9 years he spends under lifelong house arrest, in his beloved villa in Arcetri, with a view of Florence. His punishment is perfect, cruel irony. The man who saw farther than anyone is blinded. Cataracts and glaucoma take from him the stars, Jupiter, the moon, everything. Darkness. He sits in a chair in the garden, old, blind, humbled, alone. God, he whispers into the empty darkness, you took my eyes. You took the sky from me. For what? Silence. Only the song of cicadas. And suddenly he feels it, the wind, a light breath of Tuscan wind on his wrinkled face. He feels the warmth of the sun on his skin, and suddenly he understands. What a fool I was, he thinks. I looked there, at Jupiter, at Venus, at the moon. I sought you in distant space. I thought you were there, and I here. But you were here all along. He realizes. The same law that keeps Jupiter's moons in orbit is the same law that holds him, Galileo, in this chair. The same gravity. The same force that moves planets around the sun now moves blood in his blind veins. The same energy he was blinded to finally see. He needs no telescope to know Earth moves. He sits and feels it. He feels it flying. A vast, invisible ship hurtling through the void at 1,000 miles an hour, with him aboard. He didn't need to prove it to the Inquisition. He needed to feel it himself. They forced him to say, Earth is still, and he sits and feels its motion like his own heartbeat. He is not an observer. He is part of the mechanism. He is the motion. They tried me for putting the sun at the center, he thinks, and for the first time in years he smiles. What a fool! There is no center, or the center is everywhere, in every atom, in every breath, in the warmth of this sun on my face. When death comes for him in 1642, he meets it calmly. He is found in the morning, in his chair, facing the garden he could no longer see, on his face a light, peaceful smile. As if he had finally solved the last, most difficult equation, the cardinals thought they had defeated him. They silenced him. They banned his books. But they could not stop the motion. A year after his death, a boy will be born in England, Isaac Newton. He will take Galileo's laws and write with them a new Bible of the universe. But that will come later. And now an old blind man sits in darkness, feeling an entire planet carry him through space. He did not merely find a new astronomy. He found God, not in the heavens, not in the church, but in motion itself, in the law, in that incomprehensible truth that moves the sun, the stars, and his own heart. He lost the battle with men, but he won the war for reality, for it moved.